Well, we are learning more about at least one of the suspects involved and his possible motive. The Dallas police chief spoke earlier today.
And I want to share with you some of the comments from this suspect. The suspect said he was upset about Black Lives Matter. He said he was upset about the recent police shootings. The suspect said he was upset at white people. The suspect stated he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers. The suspect stated that we will eventually find the IEDs. The suspect stated he was not affiliated with any groups, and he stated that he did this alone. We cornered one suspect, and we tried to negotiate for several hours. Negotiations broke down. We had an exchange of gunfire with the suspect. We saw no other option but to use our bomb robot and place a device on its extension for it to detonate where the suspect was. Other options would have exposed our officers to grave danger. The suspect is deceased as a result of detonating the bomb. The reporting that the suspect killed himself is not accurate. We've confirmed that he's been deceased because of the detonation of the bomb.
And now we also know that suspect's name. His name is MICAH Johnson. Little bits of information coming out a little bit at a time. This is, of course, a massive police investigation. CBS News security consultant Ron Hosko is joining us now from Washington. Ron, you're also a former FBI assistant director. You know a lot about this sort of thing. The Dallas police chief said that one of the suspects wanted to kill white people. What do you make of this attack?
Well, this is quite clearly tied to recent events, these two fatal police shooting incidents in Baton Rouge and up in Minnesota. It has to be linked to the vitriolic rhetoric of our day. We have people, including leaders, who are dividing us, not uniting us, and you have people. We saw it happen in New York City just a year and a half ago after the Eric Garner and Michael Brown incidents, where an angry young man from Baltimore went up to New York City with the purpose of executing police officers, and he did just that. And then you see this needle that is the relationship between police and the public switch positions a little bit. But there is great division, there is angry, ugly rhetoric in our country today, and I think a wholesale lack of understanding about what the police do, how they do it, and what their intent is.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about social media and its impact on our civility as a country. And police say they have been monitoring these social media sites overnight, and they're noticing an uptick in threats targeting police officers. Does that surprise you? I'm sure it bothers you.
It bothers me tremendously because of most people of common sense are not going to resort to acts of violence like this. The police were out there last night supporting these protesters' First Amendment rights. And so I see this in our politics, where if we disagree, we're going to disagree in an ugly way. And now we see it in other aspects of our lives. People post things to social media that you would never say face to face to someone. It is angry, and it's dividing us, and it's hurtful.
People say a lot of things on social media, and there's free speech, but are there limitations?
Well, there are fighting words, and then there are words that present an immediate threat that is not contingent on anything, and that's where you'll see law enforcement get involved. But in the nature of things today, you see law enforcement giving some of these protesters more and more and more room to say and to reach to the edge, to lean into the argument, and they're causing harm. They are certainly generating friction with the police that are trying to protect their protest, and they are trying to get as close as they can to that edge, which is not helpful in having a conversation that hopefully would heal us as a nation, not cause more problem.
I want to just play a little bit of what the police chief had to say at his last press conference.
So please join me in applauding these brave men and women who do this job under great scrutiny, under great vulnerability, who literally risk their lives to protect our democracy. We don't feel much support most days. Let's not make today most days. Please, we need your support to be able to protect you from men like these who carried out this tragic, tragic event.
Ron, do you think our attitude towards law enforcement has changed over the past few years? And if so, do you think there are reasons, valid reasons for that?
I do. I think that we've had these events that seem to go viral that need an explanation, but too often, because of the breakdown in relationships in communities, large and small, people leap to conclusions before investigators have conducted the first act of an investigation. And we've seen that from our leaders. We've heard it repeatedly from our president. I watched a cable news show the other night. Jesse Jackson, a community leader, couldn't wait to hang the term racism on an officer without the first shred of an investigation. We need to understand these events. We need to build up our police. We need to invest in our police so that we're hiring the right people. We're training them right. We're making them guardians as much as warriors, so that they're doing their job with proficiency every day, and we're building relationships. But when we have these exchanges that we're having, when we have commentators without any fact leaping to the conclusion of race-based policing and painting everyone with that brush, it makes it more dangerous for the police, and it's making it more dangerous for the community.
Certainly, though, there are issues with the criminal justice system in regards to race and race relations between police and minority communities. The president, his speech yesterday touched on that, and he rattled off a number of statistics highlighting biases within the system. Are things coming to a head? Should things have been addressed a long time ago, and now this is a matter of the chickens coming home to roost, in a way?
Yeah, look, the president established his 21st Century Commission or Task Force on Policing over a year ago. In fact, about a year ago, they had pages and pages of recommendations, some of them very beneficial, that would improve police and community relations, would improve the police forces across the country. But those are words. That has to translate to an investment. Local communities need to invest in police forces. And so if you're hiring the wrong people, if you're not paying them at a rate that's going to attract good candidates, if you are understaffed and I have to have all my officers in a patrol car and I can't train them, I can't put them on a training range or in a classroom to get legal training, if I'm not doing that infrastructure, it's like so much other infrastructure in America that's crumbling. And when it breaks down, when a bridge falls, we complain about what we didn't do, and then we try to invest, but already there's been death and destruction. That's going on with police right now. And good young men and women who should be police are running away from this profession because of where we are.
Indeed. Ron, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll get to talk to you a little bit later, but we